The middle class should start doing business in India. Otherwise, where are we headed? It's crazy. The fact that government employees, for example, they have a lot of money. They have, you know, ideas of how government runs. What is the, difficulties? They are aware of all of these different issues that us normal people may not know, and yet somehow, they want to earn a salary. They just want to, retire, and basically that's it. It's almost like, they're not looking at how we can give lives and livelihood, not just for themselves, but for other people by making business. Today, they are the biggest middle class in India. They're the most stable middle class in India. They've got perfect jobs. I mean, if only they would take all that money and invest it properly, even in the smallest of businesses. I mean, that's all they gotta do. Just invest it little by little by little and see how the money grows. This is something that they just don't do. And so what happens is it leaves us all behind. It leaves everybody in a race to government jobs. Nobody's looking at, let's create a business, let's create value in the market, let's create, something that would, help our people, provide a product or service or whatever. And, it's crazy. I mean, nobody thinks that way. Everybody's looking at their lives and how they can get ahead. And, if you come from a very poor background, I understand what's happening because, your base is just nothing. You don't have anything and you've made it. So you have money and you want to enjoy it. And I kind of get it, but I mean, come on, dude. The people that have lives that you had. Why don't you take your money, invest it in the place where you are from? Grow something in that place that is, worthwhile, that the people will purchase, that the people will like you for. And, it's not just about liking and growing business, employing people. You can also make a profit out of it. I mean, you can make more money than you're making in the government. India is a land with a lot of, plenty of consumers, very little producers. We need more producers so that, the consumers can, have better options. Unfortunately, everybody's afraid to get into the, business market. The only people that are not afraid are Gujaratis, and, there are successes and failures there, but the people that succeed have managed to build Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad was not built, in a day. It was built over a continuous period of time where people worked, they did business, they grew and developed the city. It's such an indication of, the fact that Ahmedabad was able to develop even without an IT boom. It's just fascinating. It just shows you that, yes, international investors can accelerate a location's growth, but you don't need to have an international business to completely accelerate a place's growth, location, its richness, or to enrich the people. And this is something that a lot of people just fail to understand. They just don't want to work in a way that can produce something of value. They're willing to work hard at their jobs, 9 to 5, come home, rest and relax. And that's all right. You want to take care of your children, all right. But what are you doing otherwise? I mean, are you thinking that you're going to have your government jobs, until the day you retire, and that your government job is going to give you a pension after you retire? Because for some reason, I think that's going to be a huge mistake, And I would like to give you an example. Today BJP government is trying to privatize every single bank on planet Earth. Sorry, in India. Every single insurance company. They want to privatize everything. They want to privatize BSNL. They want to privatize HPCL, BPCL. They're looking to privatize everything. So you thinking that your job is safe is kind of a pipe dream, And also the fact that, maybe if the Congress government comes the next time, which is very unlikely to be honest, maybe they will stop all this privatization. But if you think about it, what if BJP comes the next time? They will surely end up privatizing everything. So you have to understand that you cannot rely on government jobs. The government job is only as safe as the government in place. And the government in place changes every 5 years. So if a government in place changes every 5 years, it means the mentality of your government job, the nature of your government job, although it doesn't change too much on a day-to-day level, it changes on a macro level. And one thing that a lot of people fail to understand, that changes in the macro level can absolutely influence changes at the micro level. And I hope people are able to understand this, they're able to see this, and start making adjustments to their life in this level. This is such an important thing. A lot of people fail to understand this. The economy of a place is driven by the people involved in it. If there are too many consumers in a place and nobody producing, that economy will die out soon enough. The consumers will flock to where the goods are produced and manufactured or sold. People prefer to stay in Annanagar because Annanagar has a wide variety of options for food, clothing, luxury brands, non-luxury brands. That's the reason why people go to Annanagar. The people that don't go to Annanagar because it's too costly. If people had the option to go to Annanagar, they will stay in Annanagar, right? People go to Nungambakkam because of the crazy options there. But people don't go because of the price of accommodation and the general charges for everything. Maintenance is so high. That's why people don't go there. But you have to understand that it is a very desirable place. The only reason why people are not able to afford places like Annanagar and Nungambakkam is because if there are 100 homes, 1,000 people are trying to, get those 100 homes. If people are finding it difficult to find a place in Nungambakkam for cheap, it's because there are 10 homes and 1,000 people are going for it. It's different with other places. Think about Porur, right? If there are 100 homes, there are probably 300 people going for those homes. So the prices in Porur are less, you see. And the reason why the prices in Porur are less is because the options available. But that's also changing, obviously. In Porur now we have Sarana stores and, a lot of jewelry shops are opening up. You've got all kinds of vehicle showrooms like, Maruti Suzuki, Honda. Honda has its bike showrooms there. Yamaha has its bike showroom. Suzuki has its bike showroom. So I understand that the economy of the place is changing, but you have to understand this is how changes happen. Consumers are attracted to where the production happens. Unfortunately, if there are too little production, then the consumption base will be forced to compete in an inflated market. Annanagar is an inflated market because of the demand for a place like Annanagar, right? And so, you should not think of this as inequality. It's inequality because of which Annanagar is prospering. It's not inequality. It's Annanagar's business scene is very productive. You have to understand that. I'll give you an example of a luxury brand. It's Adidas, right? See, Adidas has closed its stores I think 10 years ago, had stores in Nelson Manikam Road. They closed it down. In Annanagar, they had one Adidas store. Now they have two. And the one that was there before, they've expanded it into a huge facility. So it just shows that brands like Adidas sell there. That's why brands like Adidas expand there. Brands like Adidas don't sell in other places, so they don't expand in other places. They close down. Another important location, I think, is Kielpok. So Kielpok has got a very robust system where a lot of rich people stay, and so brands can survive there, right? But in other places, only the small businessman can survive, like the local tea kara shop. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I think local tea kara shops are extremely important because even in a place like Annanagar, there are a lot of low-skilled laborers, low-wage workers working there, and they also need somewhere to go. Not just low-skilled laborers. Even if you're earning like 1 million rupees, you could still live, or 1 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees. Most people still find themselves drinking 10 rupees tea when they're outside. So I'm not saying there's an economic divide, but I'm saying that a small tea kara shop cannot survive in Annanagar, unfortunately, because of the price of rent, and that's why tea kara shops flock to the outsides of the city. And then outside the city is developed, and so then they flock outside of the city. So what is happening is that one demographic of people is making one place inflated, and then the demographic that is affected the most is moving its shop to a place that's not inflated. So people, it's very much possible that 20 years ago, Annagar has got a lot of tea shops which offer tea at the cheapest prices in the market. But unfortunately, they couldn't keep up with the rising inflation, the rising cost of renting a place there, and they had to move out. There are two things about this. One is the tea kara shop, unfortunately, it seems, if he wants to stay in Annagar, he cannot keep doing the same tea business for the course of his lifetime. Meaning the markets are changing very quickly, quicker than we can ever anticipate. The other issue is that the tea kara shop guy now has to search for an alternative in another place. But what's going to happen is this shift is going to keep happening. And it's unfortunate, but it seems that with the way in which our economy is going, a lot of these shops are going to stop being redundant. A lot of people are going to start buying coffee makers and make their coffee at home. If you look at many of the companies, multinational corporations, they already have coffee machines in their offices. They do not need an external coffee maker. Only during special occasions, like a very important customer comes and they bring an external coffee because the coffee in the machine doesn't taste that good. But the major business is when you sell the coffee to the employees of the company. And honestly, the employees of the companies, they're paid like crazy. They're given not so good coffee, but the company doesn't care. It's giving you coffee. That's what they care about. So you have to think about things like this. We have to think about how we can improve our situation. You see, 50 years ago, Americans and Europeans and all of these people, they drank coffee from their homes. They made coffee at home, or they would go to the shops and drink coffee. Today, so many people have coffee making machines at home. It's almost like an essential kitchen commodity in many homes. What has happened is the number of coffee shops that could survive, small coffee shops that could survive, has just gone drastically low. Today, only the big guys can actually compete in the market, like Starbucks or something like that. And companies like Starbucks do such great marketing that people just flock to those places, but it tells you something, right? If the way the coffee industry is going in India, that's where it's headed. 50 years from now, we might all be having coffee machines at home, coffee makers at home, So coffee businessmen have to start thinking about these things, Automation is coming. Automation is coming, people. We've got to find a way to absolutely finish this up and build better, Make sure the people who are in these kinds of industries are helped and improved. It's so unfortunate. A lot of people don't even realize this, but it's frustrating and it's sad because I realize that people don't know it, but I also realize that it's just unfortunate that people either don't want to change or they don't know it or they think that you're stupid. Thank you for listening, guys. Episode 1 continues into another 12-minute audio. Thank you.